Yo, what's up? What's up? So I actually took away the feature, or I didn't take it away, but I just hid the feature that shows how many subscribers I have, and I'm not gonna let anybody see it because we're so close to 1,000 subscribers, yo. So I don't want people to kind of linger around and wait to try to beat 1,000th subscriber. But number 1,000 will receive a free painting. I and it may be an option. Like you may have a choice between two paintings, or maybe even three paintings. I'm not even sure yet. But I will definitely do a giveaway, and it will definitely be an original painting of mine. So I think that's gonna be awesome. What do you guys say? Hmm. I'm about to work on this paint right here. I was just trying to post something to Facebook. I'm telling everybody I'm. I will be giving away an original oil painting to my 1,000 subscriber. Make sure you come and join Art and Education. All right. How much do I charge? Oh, this right here just getting started. So I have two different prices for my art. I have a commission price for, like you're saying, a picture that you have and you want me to paint. I do those for really cheap. My starting price for commissions is $400. My standard size canvas is 18 by 24 inches. And you will have to pay for your own shipping. So when I say a $400 painting, it's basically a painting of one person from the bust up with no background. And I can do that for you for about $400 plus the shipping. As soon as you add a second person to the picture, or someone standing outside and there's a tree or a building or a car behind them, they're holding a dog. If I can see more than their torso, if I can see them from head to toe, and I can see their sneakers and their jeans, little things like that make the price go up. So a more classical style painting, I would say, would be something like this. One person from the bust up, but with nothing in the background. I'll do that for about $400. Easy. But that's why I say $400 is my starting price. Once I analyze the picture, I look it up, look over the photograph and see how much time and detail will really have to go into it, and then I'll hit you with a real price. Like for this picture, bro, you're gonna have to give me like $625 or $650, or for some pictures I want $800 for it. But normally, on an average, you can get a commission from me on an average price of about $650, $700. That's normally the range I stay in, because I want people to be able to afford my art and own my art and have a piece of my art in their home, and to give my art a home. So that's the one way I price things, is commission based work is cheaper than my own intellectual property, my own ideas, my own images. Nobody gave me this picture. I had to come up with this whole theme, this whole concept. I had to find a model. I had to find a location. I had to photograph this shit myself. And so there's a much deeper process that goes into me creating a painting for myself. And if you want to purchase a painting that I did, that I constructed, then I don't sell any of my art for less than $1,000. And that's on a really low end. I don't even think I have any more $1,000 paintings. All the stuff in here is $2,500 or better. I want $8,000 for that. I want $10,000 for this. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get like 5 or 6 for that shit right there. Pieces like this right here, I'll be asking for fucking $1,800, $2,400 for some shit like that. But there's a difference. All the quality is gonna be the same. I use the same paints. You're not gonna be like, oh well, I got a cheaper painting from Travis, so the details aren't going to be as good, or he's going to use a cheap paint. Nah, I use the same paints. I put the same effort. I use the same canvases. Hey, MB, I got you locked in too. It's just that, like I say, for my own paintings, I'm selling my ideas, and so you really got to pay for that, because my ideas are awesome. I have really good ideas. I am a subtle genius. Okay. All right. Okay. That time is money, bro. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I just got a message and I've been looking for an artist to interview for the TV show. Um, and someone just sent me a friend request, and we only have one friend in common. The one friend we have in common, me and her actually started a gallery together a few years ago, art scene. It didn't. It only lasted for about a year. It was a co-op gallery we had here in town, and so the gallery director Kim is that's the one friend we have in common. So I'm looking at this lady's page, and she's an artist. So I'm gonna immediately accept her friend request and ask her if she would like to be interviewed for my TV show. Yo, the old school basketball, yo, that shit sound hot, yo. Oh yeah, we started recording for the TV show about 2 months ago. We were gonna do initially we were gonna record 4 episodes and then start airing the episodes, but we think we want more episodes backlogged, so we're gonna try to record 10 episodes before we start airing them. So we do have 4 really good episodes now, and I have 2 more artists lined up. So I'm just trying to get as many artists as I can, and it's gonna be on our it's only on our local PBS channel. It's not some nationwide thing. No, none of you guys will be able to see it at all if you don't live in our local area. It's just the local public broadcast channel. You know, the local access channel. And so it's not like a big deal. I think for the most part, it's a really healthy add to my art resume. You know, even if people don't see it, I can. It is definitely some credentials that I can use in other situations pertaining to acquiring other art jobs or art endeavors. So yeah, by saying that I had a TV show on our public channel, it's pretty badass. But it's really simple, and it's like Charlie Rose. I'm the host, and it's a round table, and there's somebody else sitting there. We have a painting here, and we talk about their art. I ask them questions like, "Where are you from? What school did you go to? That's interesting. Did you like school? That's nice. Do you know how to paint? Because obviously you do." And then we just do this thing, and I ask a question, and they answer the question, and I ask a question, and they answer a question. We look at their art, and then we talk about their art, and then I just say bye, come back next time. And so, hey, it's a start. And so this lady right here is obviously an artist, so I'm going to ask her right now, hey, I'm doing a show. You want to let me interview you? I could have been typing while I was doing that the whole time. Give me 1 minute, guys. Hey, I'm doing it. No, I'm not going to really say it like that. Got that. Boston, what's up? I didn't say it like that. I said it really professional in my hello? Travis Prince, this is he. Yes, my ex was calling. Oh, I apologize, Mr. Bill Collector. I'm going to have to hang up the phone on you now. And that's how I worded it. In my very professional voice. It's not a white man's voice. It's not. It's a generic professional voice. Hello? Yes. Paintings by the Prince. Hey, how are you doing today? And it's easy. Come on, guys. Come on, man. Wait a minute. So I just got a friend request from someone else I went to school with, and her last name is different, and I didn't know that two of my good homies were married. Like one of my homeboys actually married another homegirl I went to school with. I did not know that was your wife, Chase. That's fucking amazing. They're like both awesome fucking people. I really didn't know they got married. I feel bad that I'm out of the loop like that. Like I'm that much out of the loop. I haven't lived at home in so many fucking years. Like I, I really should go home. I think I have my class reunion is coming up. Gotta go home and catch up. All right, my bad. I'm just fucking texting away this morning. Oh, it's coming, bro. That's what bro. I'm in the process right now of buying a house, dude. Like, and I keep seeing all these nice houses, man. But the thing is, I need studio space. I need studio gallery space, and I don't know. There's this one property that has this fucking 3-car garage in the backyard. Keep looking at that shit, man. So that's really top on my list right now. That 3-car garage, that shit is like 40 by 30 feet, yo. It's a big ass fucking building, yo. It's like a little second house in the backyard. And there's another property I seen that had a really big garage. It was like detached. It's not attached to the house. It's like further out in the yard. It's like another garage that was really fucking big. But that shit is like a 30-minute drive from here. I don't wanna have to relocate from the area. I'm doing good in this area. I'm making a lot of connections in the art world. I'm doing a TV show which is filmed locally. Have a lot of local shows coming up. My girlfriend works like literally 5 minutes from here. When I was still at the plant, my job was like 5 minutes from here. Uh, it's a really decent area. It's just expensive as fuck to live right where I'm at. To actually own a home is fucking expensive as shit. But I don't want to have to go like a 35-minute drive away from where I'm at now. So I may have, there's gonna be some compromises. Motherfucker, you gonna have to compromise some way, bro. You know what I'm saying? Gonna tip the goddamn.
I don't have a lot of time to say. If you switch to Liberty Mutual, you can save $780.
Why is that shit so loud?
Big trouble. Okay. Yeah, quick, George, do something.
Quick, George,
do
like
something. A speculation about like how other things are going to pan out, and it's sort of like sort of the necessity for socialism. He does point out that like that socialism's requirement for mechanisation and a mechanised utopia will fail, and I can't help but return to something that Gandhi said prior to the Indian Revolution. That throughout the British, there's no point in overthrowing the British in order to simply replace them and their systems.
And Gandhi failed in this respect. I mean, Gandhi
Yes.
had a vision of turning India into this collection of agrarian, autarkic utopias. And the only thing left of Gandhi's vision in the current Indian economy is his image on these rupee notes. That's the only thing left.
Yeah.
And this is partly because, Gandhi's analysis was inappropriate for the 20th century. You couldn't, it's a very nice vision to have India as a collection of agrarian utopias. It's just irrelevant to how the economy functions in the late 20th century.
But when you say functions, functions in order to suit the needs of the powerful. It would have functioned pretty bloody good for most agrarian Indian villagers. It just wouldn't have functioned well for the capitalist relationships that needed to be maintained, whether or not it was the British in charge or the Indians that were in charge.
Again, I don't know what exactly went wrong, but from the very beginning, certainly Nehru and the leadership did not try to implement Gandhi's vision in a serious way, largely because they also realized, it's not workable.
Because most people want power, ultimately.
First of all, they want food. And they
If Nehru had food, Nehru was never discussing whether or not he was going to have food. He's getting food.
No,
What he wants
not
is power.
Nehru personally.
The Indian people.
But when you have, you have 1 point something billion Indians to feed, then you don't have a lot of room for errors or for maneuvers in the economic field. Now the amazing thing is that today in India, more people die from eating too much than from eating too little. Even in India.
Oh damn.
It's not just in the West.
Yeah.
So
for me, that's just a perversion. Like that's just that's mental. We need to. That's a
No, but it also
glaring
means that there
example
is
of
enough
terrible
food.
system. Yeah. And so if there's not enough, so then we can abandon the idea that scarcity is the problem. Organisation is the problem. There's too much food here. There's not enough food over there. Why is the food not getting over there? It doesn't suit the interests of the powerful for the food to go over there. How do we affect the interests of the chin is the problem. Just that's
This is why I love
We need to- that's-
This is why I love Russell Brand. He just says the simplest fucking thing. Or it's not that simple. It is that fucking simple. You have people starving in some countries where they literally cannot get clean water and enough food to sustain a healthy existence. There's a place with no clean water and no food, right? Okay. We understand that. Now you have a place where there's so much clean water, you shit in it. You have a bowl in your house with water in it, and you shit in it. That's how much clean water you got. So much water, you can take a shit in clean water. And so much food that people throw it away. Just throw food away. I'm not going to finish that burger. It was too much. Just throw it away. I don't like tomatoes on my sandwich. Ew, throw them away. What? So how do we change? How do we balance that out from having a place with too much abundance and a place that is totally deprived? There's a way to balance it. But you know what? The people in power, it's not good for them. It's not. It won't be a positive thing if everybody was a little more empowered. You know, people in power understand that. So there's always going to be poverty. There's always going to be hunger and starvation. There's always going to be a class structure, yo. You know what I'm saying? There's always going to be underprivileged. Let me see. Underprivileged. Adjective of a person not enjoying the same standard of living or rights as the majority of people in a society. Synonyms: needy, deprived, disadvantaged, poor, destitute, underprivileged, underprivileged. But where there's one thing, there always has to be an opposite to it. So now you have overprivileged, disproportionately privileged compared to others, excessively privileged, the overprivileged son of a wealthy businessman. So this is always the way it's going to be, yeah. Underprivileged and overprivileged, and that's what. And like once again, man, I listen to Russell Brand so much because he's just. I'm not, and this is even hard for me to say, you know. This is hard for me to say because it's not that I don't like Trump. It's not that I don't like Obama. It's not that I didn't like Bush or Clinton or Bush, because that was my first. Well, I think Reagan was in office. The year I was born was the last year Reagan was in office. The first Bush, I was a fucking child and didn't have any idea of really what the fucking presidency was. By the time Clinton was in office, I kind of understood politics a little bit. So I've had a few presidents, and it's not like I like or dislike any of them. I know that they're all puppets, they're all figureheads, and nobody can change the fucking system that's been constructed. So it's like Trump this and Trump that, or make America, all that shit don't fucking matter, bro. You think this motherfucker really can change some shit? Like make real fucking change, bro? With this shit, it's a whole fucking system. And that's, once again, like, the point I'm getting to is like, oh, most people who do support Trump is like, well, he just tells it like it is. He speaks his mind, and like, no, he's he might be a good man. He's borderline fucking retarded. You know what I'm saying? This motherfucker say you don't read. You don't, huh? You don't read? How? Anyway, you know, fuck all that. I grab him by the pussy and shithole countries and telling fucking Puerto Rico that you only had like 7 people die in your hurricane compared to like hundreds that died in Katrina, so your shit ain't as bad as ours. And like all the dumbass shit that he said is like I don't really read books. Like I think that's the most scariest thing to me. That's scary as fuck. Like, this motherfucker is winging it the whole way. You done winged your whole life. I mean, apparently you've done good because you're old and fat. You know what I'm saying? You don't get old and fat unless you eat a lot and live a good life. But you just wing that shit your whole life. You was a lucky motherfucker. Like, are you just overprivileged and like motherfuckers always do shit for you? But if you want a motherfucker who just speaks honest and speaks plainly and speaks clearly and tells it how it is, because you're seeking attention, is Russell Brand. I think this is one of the most clearest, concise speaking people ever. I love to listen to him.
Because most people want power, ultimately.
First of all, they want food. I mean, and they
if Nehru had food. You know, Nehru was never discussing whether or not he was going to have food. He's getting food.
No,
he wants
not
power.
Personally.
The Indian people.
But when you have, you have 1 point something billion Indians to feed, then you don't have a lot of room for errors or for maneuvers in the economic field. Now the amazing thing is that today in India, more people die from eating too much than from eating too little. Even in India, it's not just in the West.
Yeah.
So
for me, that's just a perversion. Like that's just that's mental. We need to. That's a
no, but
glaring
it also
example
means that there is
of a terrible
food.
system. Yeah, and so if there's not enough, so then we can abandon the idea that scarcity is the problem. Organisation is the problem. There's too much food here. There's not enough food over there. Why is the food not getting over there? It doesn't suit the interests of the powerful for the food to go over there. How do we affect the interests of the powerful? We organise ourselves and we challenge the interests of the powerful. Who are the powerful? It's these companies here. It's these governmental organisations
That's
here.
the key question. To know who are the powerful, where power is, and how does it function, it's very complicated.
Do you think that power is concealed, true power, without getting too conspiratorial?
Yeah, I mean, certainly in the modern world, for a couple of centuries, one of the main functions of power is to conceal power. There is kind of a law of history. If you don't have a lot of power, you try to exaggerate your power. If you have a lot of power, you try to conceal it. If you're a king in England in the 12th century, you don't have a lot of power. But you try to conceal your weakness by the...
And that's a myth that's pushed by the eugenics and euthanasia group that, too much population. And your grammar is very poor, because if you're going to say too much, it would be T-O-O as in also. And you should have said the population is too massive, or I don't know, like that's like really, really bad grammar. But alright, so 2 issues real quick. Homelessness, that's a myth, because in the housing market crash of 2008, we saw like hundreds of thousands of homes across America that are empty and vacant. The number of empty homes, the number of houses in this country that have no one living in them is higher than the homeless population. You have people with nowhere to go, and you have empty houses. People with no homes, empty homes. People with no homes, empty. Like, and you can call it fucking socialism or whatever, but it's not hard to see like how we can make this shit work. You got fucking massive ass churches that only operate 1 day of the fucking week, but 7 days of the week you got homeless people right down the street from the fucking church. I mean, these ideas are not fucking new. Too much population. There's 6.4 billion people on this planet. Everybody on this planet can fit in France. Everybody right now, everybody can go to France and chill and be good. Everybody on the fucking planet, all the Chinese too. They 3/5 of the world's population. All the Chinese, everybody. We can all go to France right now. Everybody can be in France. This world is not overpopulated. It's not. It's meant to seem that way because they aggregate people into this city complex, and they asphalt and concrete everything around you and separate you from nature so you can understand the vastness of this world. And you're always confined in these little boxes, and you know somebody a few meters away from you, they're in their little box, but their box has more people and more stuff, and it's getting too crowded around here. And it's not. All these fears you have are fucking made up. You can't even, you gotta scratch the fucking surface, but you gotta go through layers and layers to see how you're controlled. And your conception of the world is given to you. Until you travel this fucking globe and traverse this globe and see how much acreage is empty. And see how big this planet is. And how man has grouped themselves into these fucking artificial habitats, and it's weird. But you're designed to see the world a certain way. And that certain way of viewing the world creates your reality. And your reality is false. Most motherfuckers live in a false reality. I'm still trying to wake the fuck up out the matrix my damn self. I only got a few pieces of this shit. I can see the edge of the motherfucker plain as day though. You know what I'm saying? Plain as day. But like they just said, you know, true power is absolutely concealed. Will you ever know the real source, the real core to this motherfucking structure? Probably not. But we know the cogs and the gears and the tentacles on the fucking animal that make this shit work. And where these connections, where the broader connections come from. Military and national fucking banks, yo. The military, they control you by the gun, and there's a monopoly on violence because there's only few countries that have real capabilities of altering the nature and structure of this fucking world, yo. And everybody's scared of each other now because we can create so much fucking destruction. Everybody been on pins and needles since the fucking 60s. Cause it's there, and and they dare each other to fucking try something, and they'll kill us all. Military and the financial institution, the gun and the dollar, or the yuan, or the ruble, or the pound, or the lira, or whatever fucking currency you use. Those are two of the major fucking gears in the system. But who keep that shit oiled? And who keeps designing new attachments to the machine? Nobody don't know that shit, man. You call it the Illuminati all you want, but who the fuck is that? Anything, you know, that's just some intangible concept. But if the Illuminati is a group of people, real human beings that are making decisions, then who are these people? You know what I'm saying? And who are these decision makers? Nobody don't really know that shit. Out of all the fucking lectures and documentaries and all that shit I read, man, you'll never get to the bottom of that shit. Like they saying, the only thing we can do is organize as human beings and try to make this shit better for everybody, because it is possible. But motherfuckers too dumb to see that we not overpopulated. You know what I'm saying? Just because you've been told that shit your whole fucking life. You know what I'm saying? When at this very, very moment in time, right now, this very fucking moment, white people are disappearing. And that shit is fucking scary. Like, there is a group of people who are not reproducing. But we're overpopulated. And now this whole fucking fear that they've tried to instill in you your whole life is causing white people to have less kids or have kids at a later age, and now they got you with the fucking vaccines and the recombinant bovine growth hormones and your kids fucking Happy Meals and the fluoride in the water and the chemtrails in the sky, so you can't even have kids. You're fucking sterile. And now it's this panic. Oh, the death rate is exceeded the birth rate. Oh, but the planet's overpopulated. It's not. It's not. Motherfuckers having issues. You know, China been on the one child law for a long ass time. And they only want men. They only want boys to carry the family name. You know what I'm saying? So now they got all kind of issues over there because the ratio of men to women is all fucking stupid now. Trying to solve a problem, they ain't even no problem yet. It ain't even no fucking problem yet. This motherfucker on that doomsday shit. We're gonna end soon. I don't know, man. I think we got fucking millennia left on this world. You know, and that's the thing. Like, as far as for this physical 3-dimensional world that we live in, you know what I'm saying? This fucking rock that they call Earth, if we do blow up this whole shit, I mean, that ain't gonna be the end. You know, it might be the end for us, but something to survive. Shit, cockroaches will take over this shit in 10,000 years. The motherfucking cockroaches be big as shit, walking upright, bipedal and shit. Ain't no damn telling, but that it just won't be the end. We gon' fucking kill ourselves. The human race, motherfuckers don't realize how fragile we is and how fragile this ecosystem is. And there's a medium ecosystem that all of us have to live in. We need oxygen and water, and that shit is for everybody. As soon as you fuck that shit up too bad, all of us gonna fucking goddamn feel the effects for that shit, yo. All of us gonna feel the goddamn effects for that shit. All of us basically need the same thing. There's like we need to live in a common ecosystem. But once again, these European countries keep playing around with these goddamn nukes and shit. And they want the monopoly on that shit. They don't want the Asians to have it. You know, the Koreans, they don't want Korea to have that shit. They don't want the Africans to have it. They don't want the Arabs to have it. They don't want nobody to have it but European countries. And then the two major European superpowers, Russia and America, they argue about who got the most nukes. You know what I'm saying? Come on, guys, get y'all shit to fucking together. The smartest minds in the world who have come up with one of the most tremendous sources of energy use that shit to kill people, man. Why is you on my nuts, nigga? Answer that. Hey, bro, this is my painting at the pace I want to go at. I'm not doing this for nobody. This is my own project. I take as long as to get to whatever part on this painting I want to get to, man. I'm enjoying my painting. I ain't gotta rush through that shit. That's why when they done, when I finally do get finished with it, that's why I asked for $10,000 for it. 'Cause I took my time. I was patient with it. I know you liked the show, man. You came back. Whatever. Finally got it right. Yeah, the brick's too red. It's all good. I ain't worrying about the bricks right now. I'm worrying about that nice reflection. I'm worrying about the inside of the shelves, reflection on the bottom of the shelves, getting those lines straight. I gotta get some more highlights on that newspaper. I did these lines right here. Try to get them shits as straight as I could. I put the shadow on the edge of the brick right there. I don't know if I should darken that shadow down there a little bit more. And that line right there look crooked as hell. But so yeah, last thing I did was the actual window seal. And that part right there. And what else I worked on? Getting those boxes to be uniform in color. That one got some highlights, like some slight highlights on the side of it right there, where you can see how paper bends in and folds that way. So now the last thing I want to do inside the shop window for right now is the top set of boxes. They're still pretty rough. I'm gonna pull some colors out and get a second layer on those top set of boxes right there, and then after that, after I work on the boxes, I'll be ready to start painting the bricks. You can see some bricks right there inside the shop window. I'll do those, and then I need to work on these bricks right here because they too red. Them bricks too red, so I gotta lighten them up some. But I'm gonna do all the bricks with my handy dandy. And that's why I try to save those for last. Cause when them knives come out, boy, it's a whole different game, boy. I ain't wanna see that knife work. Alright. Ahem. I don't even know what fucking colors I need for that shit. I don't even know where my picture is at. Jesus. Aha. I see, said the blind man. Ooh. I think I really like hyped up her reflection a little bit more so than in the photograph, but you can clearly see her reflection right there in the window. In you window? You can see this is her arm here, her shirt, that's her shoulder. That really light spot is her shoulder. You can see the outline of her head here and her arm, and that's the reflection of the book. This little white area here is the reflection of that side of the book. And you can see that deep green spot here, which is the reflection of her shirt here. And so you can make her, you can almost see her entire reflection in that window. And so the boxes are 5 colors, and they do have a little bit more lettering on it. There's the black circle, and then there's some writing inside the circles, a little writing below, and at the very top of the box you can see some words written in white. And so I want to work on these boxes on this top shelf, and their tabs are white with, it looks like little animal shapes on it, almost like a cow and a chicken and a dog, and I don't know what the fuck. But all brown boxes, the front tags have a little different colorization in it, but the major color tabs at the top, so you have a purple, a green, like a brownish red, another green, a turquoise, and so I'm gonna just try to work on those colors right there and try to fill it in some more because the paint is just really choppy looking. And so let's see how fast we can work our way through that.
These extravagant displays of power. So you go with like a pile of gold on your head, and you wear all these furs and pearls, and every now and then you tell people, okay, cut off his head. And that makes people feel, oh, he's very powerful. But actually, he's very weak. because the state is very weak. Then you move to the modern age, and leaders and governments really have enormous amounts of power, but they don't want to attract too much attention to it. So, you know, that they dress plainly, like an ordinary person. And they live in a much lower life. I mean, they don't go about telling people, okay, cut off his head. Because they don't want to draw attention to all that power.
That's a brilliant point.
It's very difficult to know where power really lies in the 21st century.
Pageantry conceals ordinariness. Our flags, our processions, all this pageantry, all this ritual, all this ceremony helps us to believe there is a United States of America. There is an England. It's not just a sort of an economic idea and a bit of land and some powerful people exploiting the vulnerable. It's a thing, it's a flag, there's an eagle, there's a symbol, there's a history. It's real. But bit by bit, you unpick and you unstitch and you discover there's nothing there except some powerful people exploiting some people without power. That is your America. That is your England. That is your Israel, your Saudi Arabia, all just myths and stories so that the powerful can continue to exploit the powerlessness, whether it's a crown on a head or some stars and stripes on a flag. So first thing that people have to be disabused of is their myths of nationalism, or their whatever myth it is that's preventing them from acting in their own interests.
No, it's more complicated than that.
It's more complicated than that, but we've got to get people moving.
Take, for example, the Arab Spring. So it all started off very optimistically. Like, wonderful, we have a democratic revolution of the people now gain power, and it was hijacked. And the Kalashnikovs were turned in the wrong direction. And we now have a much worse situation than before. I mean, Egyptians and Syrians and people in Yemen and in Libya, and they look back and we say, this is not why we had a revolution. Something really, really failed.
Yes, because I think they had no idea. The Islamic Brotherhood have an idea, whether you like the idea or you don't like the idea. This is our idea, this is how we see society, this is our vision. The people that are on Twitter don't have a vision for society.
That's why I think it's dangerous just to go out, say, on Twitter and tell people, okay, go to the streets, take out the Kalashnikovs, fight against power. So you can have a week of revolution, but then if you don't really understand the actual power structure, then your revolution will be hijacked and directed in a stand. The actual power structure, then your revolution will be hijacked.
Brotherhood have an idea, whether you like the idea or you don't like the idea. This is our idea, this is how we see society, this is our vision. The people that are on Twitter don't have a vision for society.
That's why I think it's dangerous just to go out, say, on Twitter and tell people, okay, go to the street, take out the Kalashnikovs, fight against power. So you can have a week of revolution, but then if you don't really understand the actual power structure, then your revolution will be hijacked. And that
Black Lives Matter. I heard that. That goes straight to Black Lives Matter.
you can have a week of revolution, but then if you don't really understand the actual power structure, then your revolution will be hijacked and directed towards goals which are not necessarily the best goals in the world.
For example, like Spain in the 30s, brief flicker of anarcho-syndicalism ultimately becomes fascism, becomes neoliberalism.
Well, there are so many examples. I mean, a century ago in Russia, you had the Bolshevik Revolution, and within a very short time, you had Stalin and the gulags and so forth. And within 2 or 3 years, the Bolsheviks were firing on the workers and peasants that they were supposed to represent. You have the famous case of the Kronstadt sailors and the Kronstadt workers, which in 1917 were kind of the avant-garde of the revolution. And by the end of the revolution, the Bolshevik government was massacring the very same workers in Kronstadt, which in the beginning were the big heroes of the revolution.
It depends on whether you have an optimistic perspective or not. There's some days where I feel human beings are capable of creating this utopia. I believe it. I believe that this technology can be harnessed to create a world of justice and liberty. then I'll hear like about some terrible refugee crisis in Burma, and I'll think, oh Jesus, let's just leave it as it is now. This is like, I don't want the trouble, I don't want the aggravation. But to return for a moment to the optimistic perspective, if you can identify the powerful, and you have a vision of a society that could be differently organised, this for me is two ingredients.
That's a big if. I mean, if you look today at the world, what strikes me most is that nobody, as far as I can tell, nobody in either the left or the right has any serious, meaningful vision for where humanity will be in 2050. Most of what you get is nostalgic fantasies about the past.
Yes.
But you don't have a serious vision which takes into account AI and biotechnology and climate change and all that, and really looks clearly at where can we be in 2050.
Popular opinion? The idea that there are no races?
Oh, okay. So, I'm Mr. Anti-academic, but this is where academics have actually done their best work, I think. So, and this is my second disagreement with Jordan Peterson. He thinks that all the stuff in college campuses that's crazy is because of postmodernism, and he doesn't understand postmodernism. What's going on in college campuses is people making all sorts of truth claims about things like race and gender, right? I'm black, therefore I will always be this, that, and the other thing. You're white, therefore you are this, that, and the other thing, no matter what, right? That is actually old, modernist, scientific racist thinking. That's what these old racist, geneticists, eugenicists thought back in the day. It's amazing. Again, SJWs are actually really, really conservative and ultimately racist.
Social justice warriors, folks. For people who don't know,
I thought your listeners must know that.
Some people don't know the
I
abbreviations.
assumed that was a shorthand to use. So, postmodernism. This is where Jordan Peterson makes me want to throw chairs when he talks about it. Comes out of French philosophy in the 1960s and 70s and 80s. Michel Foucault is the most famous example of a French postmodernist, and they get dumped on all the time. But the central argument that was made by Foucault and postmodernists was that none of these things are biologically determined, that there is no natural essence to anything, that everything is a social construct, which means that we now are free to choose our own destiny as individuals, right? Prior to that, prior to the 1960s and 70s, it was the dominant belief that if you were born a woman, you were going to be a wife and a mother. And if you weren't, you were doing something unnatural, right? That if you were black, you could never be the head of a business or the president, right? You could never do math, whatever. If you were white, you should do all those things, right? Everybody's destiny was determined at birth. And everyone believed that. Most people believed that.
Okay.
So postmodernists came along and said, guess what? You know what we found looking at history? We found just what I said. I just gave you the whole postmodern argument right there. We looked at history and we saw, first of all, that all these categories have changed over time, which tells us that they're just inventions. They're just inventions. They get reinvented all the time, okay? And second of all, they have served the purposes of ruling elites because they get to put people in their boxes and control them more easily, right? Oh, those people over there, those are black, therefore they should be our slaves. So it's okay for us to have them as slaves. Those women over there, we don't want them, working for NASA, so we will have a rule against women working for NASA, whatever it is, right? So postmodernists said, none of this is biological, none of this is inevitable. You are now free to do what you want as an individual. It was a liberating moment. It has become the dominant way of thinking in academia. And I have to say, in my view, it is the supreme achievement of academics ever.
That's it?
That's it. But it's huge, huge. So if you think about it, look how the world has changed, and particularly in the United States since then, right? We no longer generally have those ideas, or at least we don't operate as such. So black people are allowed, mostly, into places they weren't before. Women are allowed very much so into places they weren't allowed before. The whole world has changed, and I think principally from that idea. So that doesn't mean, now the problem is that these social justice warriors, so-called, on campuses, have used some of that language and taken a shit on it. So the trans movement, for instance, right, that started from postmodernism. That whole idea, right, is that, you know, if you were born with a penis, you're a man, and you should do X, Y, and Z with your life, right? The trans movement needed postmodernism to make that intervention and say, no, that's not true, right? You can actually be a woman, because woman is an invention, it's a social construct. What much of the trans movement now is doing, which makes me so sad, is that they're saying that I am biologically, essentially, naturally, you know, in my core, a woman. No, no one is. No one is. You can't, the whole point of this movement used to be that you get to choose your gender or choose not to be a gender. You get to move around. Your destiny is not determined for you. What a lot of the trans movement now is doing is a good word, reifying. They're making these ideas, these abstractions real again. They're making these claims that are similar to Sam Harris's claims and to old racist claims and to old sexist claims, that if you're born a particular way biologically, this is who you are. Right? Because you've heard a lot of trans people say this, right? I was born a woman. That's what they often say.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is, no one was born anything.
Well, you're losing me in a huge way.
Why?
You don't think that some women are born women and you don't think you're born a man?
No.
What are you born? Why are you a man?
For all sorts of reasons.
For all sorts of reasons.
Yeah.
None of them being
Well,
biological.
we just decided.
None of them being the XY chromosome. None of them being you have testicles.
Yeah,
none of them being you have a penis. None of them being the fact that you generally gravitate towards male activities like boxing, kickboxing, aggressive things.
We just went through this whole thing.
No, you didn't.
Yoel Romero and Andy Dick.
Yeah, but you.
Why are they both men?
But you.
Yeah.
You're a man.
Yeah.
Right? We're not talking about the broad spectrum of masculine behavior. We're talking about no one is born a man. You're not born a man. I'm not born a man.
I'm saying that I think
we're getting silly.
Hold on here. I think it's the category of man becomes meaningless.
Does it?
Yeah, we just did this, man.
No, we didn't. We definitely didn't do
Yoel
this.
Romero and Andy Dick are both.
It's a broad category. The lines
so
get blurry
broad.
at the ends of the spectrum, and I think they cross over. The male-female lines do cross over when you get to that Kenyan runner and Andy Dick.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's so broad that it becomes, to me, pretty damn meaningless.
Well, the numbers are incredibly small at those crossover marks. You're talking about a very, very small percentage of the population.
Neither Andy Dick nor Yoel Romero are trans people, right?
Andy might be.
They are so different, though, physically in every way.
Okay, yeah.
But we both put them in this silly category called man. What the hell does that mean anymore?
Andy has children. He made
does that
them.
mean anymore?
He impregnated different women and got babies
And there's
from
a
them.
lot of people called men who don't and can't.
Okay, yeah,
Can't.
but that's rare.
They were born that way, by
but
the
that's
way.
pretty rare.
Not that rare.
Oh, it's very rare.
It happens.
Most men, when they have sex with a woman and they put sperm in their body,
So that's
they can make a baby.
So that's one characteristic.
But hold on a second. You're making it as if it's a really common thing. When you're talking about like a small fraction of the men can't make babies. An incredibly small fraction.
So an incredibly...
The vast majority of males with the XY chromosome who have penises are capable of impregnating a female with an XX chromosome. I mean, and the male was born a male, the female was born a female.
Right.
So what do you mean that you aren't born a man or you aren't born a female?
Right, so there are many, many characteristics, right, that we assign to the category of man. Many of them.
Okay.
That's one characteristic. Okay? So why is that characteristic in the man category? If, in particular, that there are some men who don't share that characteristic.
Yeah, like...
But which ones don't?
I was kind of with the guy for a minute, but then just like Joe said, like, you're losing me now. How was no one born a man? And then I thought he was going to try to come up with, like, some... You know, that the Y chromosome kicks in later, so essentially we're all conceived as females or something, but he just went off the deep end and just said that there's different characteristics, so why choose that characteristic and make it seem like the most important characteristic? Well, the reason is because it's what allows you to be a man. You have testicles. Like, what the hell?
That's the aberration. The aberration is the ones that
Why is it an aberration? See, these are all
because they can't
inventions.
get a woman pregnant. They don't produce sperm. You're talking about like very, very rare cases.
Yeah, same with, for race, same thing happens with sickle cell anemia, right? This is what everybody invokes when they want to claim that race is real. Only black people get sickle cell anemia. Well, guess what? The numbers there are about the same as the number of men who are infertile. Why then are people with sickle cell anemia definitely black? Why is that definitely a black thing? Same thing. It's, you know, again, why are we, there's all these characteristics. Why do we draw this line called man around all those different people?
Well, why do we do it with animals? When you have a male dog and a female dog, isn't there a male
thing.
dog and a female dog? You don't
Inventions.
believe there's a male dog and a female
I'm just saying
dog?
it's inventions. Now hold on. So before you get,
But it's
before
not an
you think I'm-
invention.
Yeah, no, it is, of course.
But it's not an invention. One of them has a penis and testicles. It's a
the,
male.
the thing we see, we call it a penis. Sure, I get it. No, I get it. And that's the world I live in. Absolutely. So I operate in this way, by the way. So
A dog penis world?
You and I would agree on all the things in the world that are dogs.
Right,
And all the
okay.
things, okay, I'm not going to walk around and be like, oh no, that's
All
not
right.
a dog.
So with humans, you're making a distinction that there are
Same.
certain feelings and the way you interface with the world that may be more or less masculine or feminine.
No, but it does apply to dogs, my point here, which is that we did draw a line, right? In those, there's this, do all dogs look alike? My God, there's a huge variation there
We're not
too.
talking about race, though. We're talking about gender, right?
Either way, it doesn't matter. It's the
Okay,
same,
let's just
same
say
principle.
Dobermans.
Uh-huh.
Male Dobermans and female Dobermans, right?
Mhm.
You can't,
Sure.
like, if you go to buy a male Doberman and the guy gives you a female Doberman, he goes, oh, but she identifies as being a male. It's just an invention, man. This is a male.
But-
She's a male. You can't disrespect her by saying she's not a male. You would say that guy's crazy and you want your money back.
Are there any two females who are identical?
Two female what?
Anything?
I mean, if you have a
No.
really good breeder, you can get pretty goddamn close if you're talking about dogs.
No. There are no two organisms that are identical. Certainly
They're
not.
not
Certainly
identical
not.
down to the hair. You
Yeah,
got me on
well.
a technicality, but
So
you can still
then-
categorize them as XY
Sure.
or XX chromosomes.
Sure.
No?
And I'm not saying we shouldn't categorize anything ever, because we must do that to live in this world.
What are you saying?
What I am saying is we should probably stop applying certain categories to human beings in the ways we have done.
Like how so?
Because there
how
are
so with
certain
male and female?
Because there are certain inventions, certain social constructs that do nothing but bad things, that do no good, and they're only social constructs, like race and gender.
Well, tell me how race and gender definition.
I'm not worried
how
about Dobermans too
especially
much.
gender definition. Let's look at gender definition and tell me how it's only bad. Why is it only bad to define men as men and women as women?
Because, well, if you say it's about making the biological claim, the biological connection there.
Well, making a definition,
Which
like
is-
saying a guy who is born a guy who gravitates towards male activities, likes females, all those things, by saying that that's a man, that this is a born man, and you're saying no one is.
So if you're saying if those characteristics are naturally determined, then all of us guys who don't do those things are unnatural.
Which things are those?
All
Being
the
attracted
things
to
that,
women,
whatever it is that you characterize as being male, right?
But that's so common with males.
What is?
Being attracted to women,
Oh, really?
engaging in
Oh,
sex
really?
with women.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Have you heard of gay people?
Yes, it's a small percentage
you
of the
mean?
population of men. Is it 1%? Is it 10%?
Yeah,
1 out of 10?
I mean, it's certainly a lot of people, isn't it?
Well, it's a lot of people when you think about the 350 million people we have living in America. Sure.
Take all the men. Let's do this. Take all the men who are straight up homosexual, always
Right,
have
but
been.
that's,
Hold on.
but
wait.
you can classify them as gay men.
I know. Hold on. So just take that, whatever that is.
Okay.
If it's 1 or 2 or 5 or 10%, whatever it is. Only been homosexual, 100%. Never been attracted to a woman. Period. Okay. Okay. Fine. That's still a really significant number. I'm not done. Hang on. Then take the men who don't identify as homosexual, have had sex with women, have been attracted to women, but have fucked men.
Prisoners.
Pretty damn big number there. Pretty damn... Oh,
Wait a minute. How many guys do you think that are
Pretty
attracted to women
big.
but still fuck men?
So Kinsey, the Kinsey study
Sure.
in the 1940s and 50s, found that it was, I think, 30%.
What?
Yes.
30% of men fuck men?
Reached orgasm in a sexual experience with another man, yes.
30%.
Yes. Yes. It was a very large number.
Kinsey was hanging out with freaks.
Yep.
That's what I think.
There were different numbers for women and men, but they were both very significant percentages. Very, not majorities, but very significant percentages.
Well, I don't know.
I've personally known many men who you would consider straight, who identify as straight, who have done something with men. Either given them a blowjob, gotten a blowjob, had full-on sex,
Holla.
jerked each other off.
Jesus, you're hanging out with weird
I'm
crowds,
surprised
bro.
this is news to you.
Well, it's news in that even if they did do that, you're talking about individual sexual acts between people who are male or female, right? You're still talking about a man. Still talking about a man that's having sex with other men. You're defining it in that way. You're literally saying
No.
a guy.
You are.
You are saying you know guys who've sucked other guys' dicks. A guy who's
Right.
done it to a guy.
No, yeah.
You're saying a man do it to a man.
Gotcha. I gotcha. No, I'm saying that people who are identified as men
You didn't
by
say that,
society,
though, did
but that's
you?
what I meant. People who are identified as men by society have done these things that society
when they
considers
were-
to be unnatural for men.
But when they were doing that, weren't they a man doing it to a man?
And look what happened to those guys historically. Not so much recently, but still today, but certainly historically.
Listen, we can't keep going back to 100 plus years now.
I'm talking
Let's talk about like right now.
I am.
You're still talking about a man who's having a sexual exchange with another man.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can be sexually attracted to another man. It doesn't mean that you're both not men.
So do you think homosexual men are men?
Sure.
Why?
Because they're male. They have a penis. They have XY chromosomes.
So
they can get a woman pregnant if they wanted to.
Okay,
they
so-
can donate their sperm to their lesbian pals, and they can all
So
have
then you
babies
just
together.
eliminated one of the characteristics that you previously said was male.
No,
Which is
no,
attraction
no,
to
no.
women.
Most men, are attracted to women, but a good percentage of them are gay. This is not like complicated stuff. They're still men.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know where to go from here. I mean, I think I've made the argument. It's funny because I thought you were totally with me for like an hour and a half, and now it's like I feel like you're not there. I don't know
Definitely
what to
not there with
say.
that. I think there's a giant spectrum of people, but to say that a guy isn't born a man or a woman isn't born a woman, I think is disingenuous.
Yeah. So it's where okay.
Shit, Bo Biddy.
Thailand, I think in India, and I think there's several Polynesian countries. There's several countries where there is a legal and cultural and social category that is neither man nor woman nor male nor female. Like in Thailand, the ladyboys, right? And there's other countries too have this. You can look it up. It's
what?
easy to
Sure.
find, right? Okay, you know about this, maybe.
Sure.
Okay. What about that?
Thailand
What
again.
about those right countries where it's where okay, Thailand, I think in India, and I think there's several Polynesian countries. There's several countries where there is a legal and cultural and social category that is neither man nor woman nor male nor female. Like in Thailand, the ladyboys, right? And there's other countries too have this. You can look it up. It's easy.
Sure.
To find, right? Okay. You know about this, maybe.
Sure.
Okay. What about that? What about those
There's that
people?
too.
What do you? Oh,
I
wait.
think there's that too.
So. Oh. Okay.
I'm saying people can be born a man,
But if you-
people can be born a woman, or you can get these Andy Dick, Yulo Romero weird variations.
But Joe, take the ladyboys from Thailand,
Okay.
and move them here to
What
this
is-
country now.
Is this dude talking about trannies?
How will they be considered?
Wait a
What do you mean,
minute.
how will they be considered?
Americans don't have those categories.
Okay.
We have only
Well,
two.
don't
we
you
have
think there's a
only
lot
two.
of variables in Thailand?
I had to get a good
also?
look at this
You're dealing
motherfucker,
with,
yo. I haven't looked
really
at this dude the
young
whole
sex
time.
workers. There's a lot of
Yo,
weird shit that
yeah.
goes on in Thailand. A lot of abuse.
So is the ladyboy category real or not?
Let me.
It's certainly real. That's just a
Okay.
tramp.
Yo, this dude's name is Russell. Rogan argues with Russell about gender and race. Okay, the race part, I was with him all the way on the race part as being construction. Because there's only like one race. But then he says there's no gender And like Rogan's like, you kind of lost me. And I was like, yeah, he lost me too. Like that shit stopped making sense after a while. And they don't have his Thaddeus Russell. Joe Rogan and Thaddeus Russell get in a heated debate on the social construct of gender. Damn, I must be wanting some ginger ale. Whether a man is born a male or not, what do you guys think? I think this guy gets fucking stupid if you can't get past balls and testicles, bitch. Versus vulva and your goddamn hymen and ovaries, motherfucker. Do you have a hymen? Do you have ovaries? Bitch, you not no fucking woman then. You got testicles, motherfucker? You got a penis? That's all we got. I got 2 balls and dick. Like women got all kind. They got labias and clitoris and vulva and hymens and ovaries. It's like, god damn, your shit complicated than a motherfucker, bro. No, I ain't no goddamn woman. I wasn't born no damn woman. I got a dick and I'm a man. This motherfucker saying, oh, just because you born with a dick and balls, it don't make you a man. Society is what makes you a man. Huh? You sound stupid. This motherfucker sound dumb as shit, bro. And now, he arguing about trannies. He talking about, wait, the lady boys, that sound like some trans shit of Thailand, because in Thailand, there's no sex, gender, or class for lady boys. Faggots? Like, wait, we don't have that here in the States. And you can just right this. I paused it look at Rogan's face. He is confused as fuck, dude. Look at him. He's like, what the fuck, son? Yo, hymen having looking at. Motherfuckers don't even know what a hymen is. You ever took a girl virginity? All right, then. You ever took some virginities? You know what that hymen is, boy. You never pop that cherry, boy. You never pop nobody cherry. Ooh, shit. Well, we got pop that cherry, boy. I ain't never popped nobody cherry. Y'all motherfuckers still say that? I don't even know what that shit called nowadays. I'm old. I don't know what y'all call that shit nowadays.
Trans category
Right,
is real.
so there they consider that real, and here we do not.
But if a trans
Why, that's
category is
really weird,
real,
isn't it?
and I think you agree it's real, and I agree it's real,
Mhm.
right? Trans people, I mean, there's absolutely people that feel like they're born the wrong gender,
Well, sure,
right?
yeah.
I think this dude is gay, and he's just like, I don't know. That's fucked up. That's wow. I just collect hymens. That's you virgin, come here. Are you gonna sacrifice me? Nah. I just wanna. Is that too much? That's too graphic? I think that might be too graphic. This motherfucker, I'm a goddamn vampire.
Okay. So what?
Popping cherries left, right. I did that shit twice ever. After a while, it's like, after I got some experience and I realized I was an asshole still, I was like, look, honestly, I turned chicks down. Like, I'm not the one. That shit's supposed to be some special shit. You know what I'm saying? Me, I'm just humping. I ain't even, you know what I'm saying? I'm a virgin. Like, really? Let somebody else do that shit, man. I need me some horrors. Alright, what was I working on? And we started talking about some other shit. I done lost my place on the painting. Okay. What up, though? What time is it? I gotta be some way in 3 hours. Tres años. No. Años is years. Horas? How do you say fucking hours in Spanish? Hora? Is hora? Hour? Hora? Que la hora? I gotta brush up on my Spanish. Let this dude wrap up his argument, cause he ain't making no sense. He's not gonna win this shit against Joe Rogan. He's not gonna make Joe Rogan come to some magical epiphany and see this shit the way that he sees it. This dude is just like weird as fuck, and once again, you can just the look on Rogan's face, yo. He's like, yo, he is genuinely confused. Like, he's not confused about what he's saying. He's confused about how can this guy believe the words that are coming out of his own mouth. Damn. Hey.
Sex workers. There's a lot of weird shit that goes on in Thailand. A lot of abuse.
So is the ladyboy category real or not?
It's certainly real. As is the trans category
Right,
is real.
so there they consider that real, and here we do not.
But if a trans
Why, that's
category is
really weird,
real,
isn't it?
and I think you agree it's real, and I agree it's real, right? Trans people, I mean, there's absolutely people that feel like they're born in the wrong gender,
Well, sure,
right?
yeah.
Okay. So why isn't a man real? Why isn't a woman real?
Oh, okay.
They're real too.
If you want to say they're all equally real, I'm down.
Yes.
I'm there, we're good.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. It's just that those categories have no absolute, biological meaning.
Yes, they do.
Meaning that they're fluid, they're, basically arbitrary. Sorry. I mean, that we invent them. I'm not saying it's useless. I'm not saying we should never have any categories. I'm just saying that those categories have changed, and they change.
But you kind of
depending
did
on
say
where
that,
you
though.
are
That's
in the
why I'm
world.
disagreeing with you. You kind of did say that a man isn't born a man, and that a woman isn't born a woman. And for sure, a lot of them are. For sure, a lot of people that have your stereotypical classic female characteristics were born female. And for sure, there's a lot of men who have classic stereotypical male behavior and patterns and desires. They're born men.
Yes,
and then there's trans people. And then there's asexual people that also need to be considered. There's people that just don't have any desire to fuck anybody.
Okay.
They don't want to. They don't want to be a man or a woman. They can call themselves queer. They can call themselves whatever they want. They don't want to be a female. They don't want to be a male. They just want to be human.
Here's the deal. How about let's make a deal. If that's what you have to say about it, and you want to not get in the way of people doing those things and making those decisions for themselves and let them do what they want to do, I am totally with you. And that's true.
For sure, I don't want to get in the way of anybody making... I don't want to get in the way of furries.
That's awesome.
If you really identify with being a giant squirrel...
That's awesome. That's great. And that's really what matters. I'm just saying that claims, and I want to end it here, claims about these essential characteristics that it's biologically determined, right? Are the things that reinforce getting in the way. Laws, policies, cultures, ideas, norms that get in the way of people doing what they want to do with their own lives.
No.
Right? Because
for sure with some people. Well, the variables are so extreme, and the spectrum is so broad.
This dude had no idea what the fuck he was talking about at all. At all. A little bit. But not when it comes to sexual identification. Oh, can I not skip that? Oh, can I please skip that?
You're full. Are there more or less of them than people that are in cults?
There are vastly more paying attention
than people in cults.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you'd have to define it.
Yeah,
you'd have to define
I think that's way off, because I think there's like 1 billion Catholics.
Well, if you're going to call Catholicism a cult.
It's a cult. I grew up in it.
Okay.
It's 100%. It's just a cult with 1 billion people. Whenever you got a guy who dresses like a wizard.
That's the fucking point. He ain't had no point. Dude ain't even had a point. All he trying to say is don't call a man if he don't want to be called a man. Put on your pants. You got dick and balls. But look, I see your equipment, but if you don't want me to call you a man, I can call you it or shim or whatever you want me to call you. But nigga, you pee out of a tube that hangs in front of your body. That makes you one of us. Now, just because you don't want to be one of us, you don't want to identify as, I can understand that. But naturally, biologically, he's saying this shit is not, that sex, your sexual identity is not biological, bro. Biology and genetics determines your sex. It is biological. What the fuck are you talking about? That's the point that I was seeing, is like, if you, and then like Rogan, and that's why I listen to Rogan, because I don't agree with Joe Rogan all the time by any means, but I agree with him 100% on that one. Like you said, I ain't gonna get in the way. You want to call yourself a faggot, a lesbian, a tranny, whatever, do it. I don't give a fuck, man. That shit don't fuck bother me. But that don't mean you weren't born a girl or a boy. That's it. There are rare cases of hermaphrodites, and that's the only time I really see that biologically you could have a choice to snip it or stitch it. But could you even stitch it? You would probably only have the option of keeping both or snipping. Because even if you stitch it, it'll still be there. I think I'm thinking too deep about that. I've never thought about that before, like being born hermaphroditic. Hey Siri, can a hermaphrodite impregnate themselves?
I found something on the web about can a hermaphrodite impregnate themselves. Check it out.
No, thank you. There's everything on the internet. Jesus. If a hermaphrodite did get themselves pregnant and they had a child, then they wouldn't be mom or dad, they would be the parent. My parent gave birth to me. That's what I'm saying, yo. If you could choose the sex, but can you really, like, permanently and for good, like, close up a vagina? How you close up a vagina permanently? You gotta do the pussy lobotomy, what they call that shit. What's that process women go through when they got to get all their insides all cut out and stuff? But I don't know. LGBT. They didn't added some more letters to that shit now, man. That shit got Q, and Z. Swear to God, that shit like QZ. After a while, you ain't gonna be able to say that shit, man. I have a hard time saying that shit without seeing it. LGBT. I thought that shit was for like blacks and Latinos at first, and I was like, oh, that's some gay people shit. I ain't worried about it. It don't bother me. Shit, do what you do. Make it do what it do, homie. Just don't fuck around with me. Only thing I see about that though, these other groups like that, they done hijacked the civil rights movement, and now they want to get all the shit before the black people get it. I want my civil right. Wait. This shit wasn't about y'all to start with. Wait a minute, man. This shit was about us. Hey. Training. You know how long it took for me to use the same bathroom? Say, wait your turn. That's bad jokes. My bad. I apologize. I'm just joking. Damn. Motherfucker be so sensitive sometimes. I ain't lying. Oh, I fucked that line all the way up. That's why I hate painting lines, man. Jeez, man, these shits ain't gonna be straight, yo. I'm just letting y'all know now. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna be straight, but they gonna look straight. You know what I'm saying? As long as they look straight, I'll be alright. But they not straight, though. You know what I'm saying? I got a line here, and I gotta come around this way, and twist my damn elbow from here to goddamn hell, so I can get this line, and that bitch crooked as a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That shit crooked as somebody from goddamn Boston. Just playing. Y'all know I just be playing, man. Look at that work. Look at that work. Painting and popping. Painting and popping. Look at that work. Look at that work. Oh, y'all can't even really actually see. Oh, you already know that shit, bro. Cause hey, if somebody hear my LGBT jokes here, man, they coming to shut this stream down. What? Let me tell you right now. Man, I'm gonna be out here. That's why I said I'm just joking, man. It's just fucking jokes. Apologize. I'm sorry. I am honestly sorry. Please don't shut down my channel. Yo, we almost at 1,000 subscribers, man. I changed my settings so nobody can't really see. So nobody really can't see how many subscribers we got to go. But it's not that many. We only a couple dozen away from 1,000 subs, and number 1,000 is going to get a free painting. And then I'm looking into getting some prints made for some long-time viewers. Gotta check my subscription list. Go way back. Yo, Tiny. I'm gonna check my subscription list and go way back to the beginning and see who been here the earliest and who stuck around the longest. You know what I'm saying? If you was in there real early but you don't watch this shit no more, you might not be in the running. If you been in there years ago and still be sticking around fucking with these paintings and shit, man, I gotta give y'all something too. I can't let the motherfucking 1,000th motherfucker come in here all brand new and shit and get a goddamn good ass prize and shit. Don't know shit from shit. Ain't never argue with me. Ain't never helped me in no argument. Ain't never taught me nothing. Ain't never got no commission from me or helped me get a commission. just because you a lucky ass some bit. But I appreciate it. I thank you everybody for subscribing to the channel and sticking with your boy this long. But we will let a newbie, you know what I'm saying, just because we still celebrating getting so many people in here. So a newbie gonna get a real good prize. I know. But I gotta do something for my goddamn long time subscriber just off the strength, you know what I'm saying? That's that G shit. For the admiration. Cause I really appreciate y'all, man. I wouldn't have kept doing this shit so fucking long if motherfuckers don't even watch this shit. You see, we're a different breed of people. That's why there ain't never a lot of people in my stream, yo. That shit ain't for everybody. I know that, and y'all know that. This shit is not for everyone. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers who don't like it, fuck them. Hey, with a fat one, too. We gonna make it. We gonna make it like that. Hey, when that shit get big, get real big, I'm like that, man. That nigga from PlayStation.
He's sitting on a golden throne.
Remember that motherfucker from PlayStation.
But that is why this is a problem. Is that there's many people that live their lives by these ridiculous ideologies that are illogical.
Okay, so I'm going to challenge you on this.
Protect them from predators and Facebook likes.
I'm going to challenge you on this.
Please do.
Catholicism is not a cult.
What is the difference between a cult? I had a bit for my act. Let me just
Sure.
A cult is bullshit, and it's created by one person, and he knows it's bullshit. In a religion, that guy's dead.
Okay. So let me. This is rough territory. But
for you,
okay. Let's say
for me, this is every day.
Let's say, yeah, all right. Let's say Moses comes down the mountain with the tablets.
Oh, that dude.
Okay, I don't know if Moses did come down the mountain with the tablets.
I don't think he did.
Let's say he did.
But okay.
Did he know he was bullshitting people?
Well, do you know what religious scholars actually believe in Jerusalem? Actually believe that was all about now, the whole burning bush.
Tell me.
They believe it was the acacia bush, which is rich in DMT, and they think the metaphor of the burning bush was actually a psychedelic experience. And that Moses, during this psychedelic DMT experience, came back from the other dimension that you go into when you go into the DMT trance with all this really these standard messages that I myself have gotten from these psychedelic experiences, that you have to treat each other as if we're all one, and that our separations are all illusions, that you are literally living a life that if I was born in your body and I had your genetics, I would be you and you would be me, because we are all the same. And our differences are really what the illusion is. We are these temporary beings, and that negative thinking and negative feelings and all these things manifest themselves in negative actions and negative thoughts, and you can change that. You can change the frequency in which you exist in this world.
Okay.
Like, this is essentially what the 3,000-year-old version of Moses, or more than that, Moses' tablets were. That they were, God was the burning bush.
Perfect.
Right.
So let me ask you a question. You've done some hallucinogens.
Oh, yeah.
And you've had some insight.
Yeah.
And that insight had something to do with treating people well.
Yes, it definitely did.
Okay, was it true?
Well, it definitely has benefited me. True or false, if you ask me, is it true that you have had positive experiences from psychedelic drugs where you have interpreted those experiences and improved your life? Yes, that's true.
Okay, so if you now go and you convey that thing to somebody who hasn't had the experience themselves, is it bullshit?
Well, here's the thing about psychedelics as opposed to all the other ideologies, is that they're very repeatable. You don't have to believe in DMT. If you smoke it, you're going to experience it whether you believe in it or not.
Right, and actually I think this is, I am a cautious fan. I say cautious because I'm not a fan of the idea that these substances should be used recreationally. I think that's a mistake.
I agree with you.
I think it's fine to have a great time, but that these things are so powerful that one should be deliberate about it, and, don't do it with a TV.
The only thing that I like about doing it recreationally is it's going to get more people to do it. and that if you think it's recreational and then you do it, there's going to be a certain percentage of those people that go, what was that? That's not what I thought it was. I thought I was going in there to have a good time, and I just communicated with God.
Yep.
Air quotes God.
Yeah, air quotes. Well, but air quotes God is marvelous because air quotes God is the real deal.
Yeah.
Right? In other words, it's not a dude on a cloud.
Right.
It's something, it is a metaphor for something lodged very deep in the mind where you can't find it directly, and this is a hack that many cultures have used to access that layer.
And it's all very familiar to us, and
Don't do that.
when you talk to people that have studied DMT in particular, one of the reasons why I think it's so familiar to us, when you have this experience, one of the first things that happens is you feel like you've been there before. And they believe that this is because during REM sleep, your brain produces DMT.
Yep.
You know, it's very difficult to monitor, but they have been able to, through the Cottonwood Research Foundation, which all started from the work of Dr. Rick Strassman out of the University of New Mexico, who wrote a book called DMT, the Spirit Molecule, which was one of the very first times where the DEA allowed them to do clinical studies on people with intravenous dimethyltryptamine, which is like fucking serious shit. Mm-hmm. So instead of like this 10 to 15 minute trip, you're gone for a long time, half hour plus, and deep experiences that a lot of these people mirrored. They had like super similar experiences, but through the Cottonwood Research Foundation, they found that live rats are producing DMT in their pineal gland. This has been proven now, which was really just speculation. There was anecdotal evidence, but now they know that rats produce this. Well, so they don't know exactly when people do it, because they would have to do the same thing they do to rats. They'd have to open your brain up. Until they develop some sort of sophisticated detection methods, it's just speculation as to when the brain's producing this incredibly potent psychedelic drug. But it's there. Right. We know it's producing it. We know it's produced in the liver. It's produced in the lungs. It's endogenous to the human system, and we don't know why.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure I have a good insight into why.
Okay.
But for the moment, let's pursue the issue of what the implications are.
Okay, I'll hold on to why. I'll cross my fingers.
Yeah, cross your fingers on that one. The story you've just told is perfectly plausible, whether it's 100% accurate or not, and we don't know.
Right.
But the idea that your mind contains mechanisms that go into some sort of psychedelic state without your conscious mind being able to tap into it, so your conscious mind walks around during the day not realizing that you're tripping at some other moments for some purpose, it's all very interesting. You're not tripping in your sleeping mind for no reason at all. You're doing it for productive reasons. Logically speaking, it has to be the case that if you're burning energy and going through the costly exercise of thinking, even in this psychedelic way, that it's happening for a reason, right? And that means that we have carried this with us from an ancestral state into the modern state, and we now have molecules that we can trigger it when we want to. That gives you access to a style of thinking that you're telling me has altered your understanding of your relationship to other people, and that it metaphorically lines up with what you often hear delivered in religious terms, right?
Abstractly, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when you say Catholicism is a cult, I don't agree, because Catholicism historically must have been delivering messages that caused people to correct their thinking in ways that made them collaborate more effectively, that made them better able to find the opportunities in their environment. I'm not advocating that we should sign up for belief systems that are at odds with our modern environment. But one thing we can say, I believe for sure, is that religions that have stood the test of time did so because their value to the people who believed in them was so great that those that disbelieved were outcompeted. Now, so we get into trouble in the modern circumstance because we can look at many of the teachings of any of these ancient religions and we can compare them to what we learn scientifically and detect that there's something not right.
Can I stop you there?
Sure.
Scientology, is that a cult?
Too early to tell.
It's too early to tell. Scientology been around for a long time. Yo, Sonny, that's what's up. That my channel came up in your recommendations. Yo, somebody else said that a couple days ago. They was like, why the fuck did this come up in my recommendations? And I told them, because I'm dope as fuck. And basically there is no way around that shit. It's because I'm the shit right now. So yo, definitely sub to the channel. Appreciate that. Follow my Instagram is booming. I put all my artwork on my Instagram. And make sure you stick around for this project because I'm currently applying the second layer of paint. So this canvas is going to change dramatically over the next few days. I'm going to start, hopefully today, I'll start some knife work and applying some highlights to these bricks behind her. But yeah, definitely check out the channel. My streams are long as fuck. It's weird. I realized that my channel isn't for later viewing for the most part. I think this is best if you catch it live because we get to talk like this and we get to chat. And it's, I don't know, it's like when you watch recordings, it's like, fuck, I wish I was there because I would have said this and I would have said that and that shit was funny. And it's like, so that's why I always ask people to sub to the channel, hit the notification bell because sometimes we have a good time in here, yo. Most of the time it's really enjoyable. And sometimes I really just focus on the art. And then the streamer, I mean the viewers, you guys can just carry on conversations amongst yourselves. And I think I'm as well know, what color is this? I'm here. So just a little bit more on these boxes. I'll be as far as I can be, and then I'm actually gonna pull out the big palette again and start knifing up some of these bricks and mortar. These little colors are very tight with their variation. A couple of them are green, but I'm trying to get different greens without going back into my case of paint. Gotta turn this heat off. Shoo. I feel a little bit of perspiration bubbling up underneath the skin, man. Is it that warm in here? I ain't know it's that warm in here. Shit like a sauna, nigga. Shit. Little teeny ass room, the door closed and the window shut. Boy, shit. How long I been here? Almost 2 hours with that heat on. That's why. Whew. Motherfucker, that shit done got toasted, boy. That shit done got toasted.
Okay, but let's stop.
Well,
because we know the guy who created it.
Well, we do, but we all. So let me drag you back.
Okay.
So, by the way, I'm very uncomfortable with Scientology and what it does. But the problem is, as Scientology itself points out, if you looked at the inception of something like the Catholic Church, you might be equally troubled.
Sure. Which is why I think they're both cults.
Well, but let's be careful about that.
Okay.
So,
Be careful.
What do you think a cult is? What do you think a cult is?
well, I think a cult is the predatory version. It is tapping into people's natural tendency to believe in what I call metaphorical truths.
Like
And
religion.
is using
Like, get
it
the
very
fuck
often
outta
to
here,
extract resources from them.
like the
Cynical.
Catholic Church.
It's like a church, yeah.
No, not like
No?
the Catholic.
I like these sometimes. Most of the time, Joe Rogan gets guests that he agrees a lot with, you know. But the last guest, he disagreed with him, and this guy's like, I don't think the church is a cult. Basically, it is. You know, you have segmented yourselves off. You try to use the same teachings, but then you say, well, we read it this way and we read it this way, and this is how we interpret it. So we're Episcopalian, or we're a Baptist, or we're Seventh-day Adventist, or we're Holy Roman Catholic, or we're Jehovah Witnesses. It's like, yeah, but you all believe in the same God? Wait a minute, y'all just made a bunch of cults out that shit, yo. What the fuck did you do? It's all cultified.
The Catholic Church is so long-standing, and the population.
I don't give a fuck how long the Catholic Church
what
is
I would
standing.
say is, if a
It's so
population
long-standing.
succeeds by believing in these things, then cult is not the correct.
I think you and I have different terms.
yeah, it's a
We're
really big
using
cult.
different definitions of the word cult then.
But let me.
Okay,
There's
sorry,
a
go
very
ahead.
interesting
Okay.
comparison. So Joseph Smith, who started the Mormon Church, had a
At
competitor.
14.
Right. He had a competitor at the time. There's a book called The Kingdom of Matthias, right, about his competitor at the time. And to me, the two looked equally plausible, the story that they were selling. Now, Matthias never had more than 30 followers, and his religion died out, and Joseph Smith won, and the Mormon Church is obviously a real thing. But these sets of beliefs are advanced by somebody, whether those somebodies are cynical when they do it or whether they are earnest. I think many of these, the ones that we have that have lasted for long periods of time, have been advanced by somebody who was, in one way or another, conscious or not, DMT or not, tapped into something that, when delivered to other people, actually constituted a kind of insight. Now,
as opposed to being a con man.
Right.
Okay, and so the origins of the Catholic Church most likely came from some desire for order and a scaffolding of how to behave and to give people rules and structure for how to get through this life with the most amount of positivity and love. And by disciplining them and having these grave punishments being held over their head, burning in the fires, the pits of hell, if they decide to have sex with another man, or wear two different types of cloth, or whatever the other silly things that were in the Old Testament. By doing this, what they've essentially tried to do is offer people structure.
No, it's not really structure. It is an analog for truths that can't be spoken literally, because
battery low, please charge now.
Let's deal with the church on the one hand and Moses on the other.
Okay.
Moses is obviously important in Jewish history. If Moses ate some DMT from the acacia bush,
I think it was smoke.
Oh, he smoked
That's why the whole thing, the burning bush.
Okay. So let's say he smoked it. Let's say he was super savvy and farsighted, and obviously he didn't know anything about molecules.
Right.
But suppose that he had some ancient model of something, and there must have been something in that plant that caused crazy things to happen. Let's suppose he didn't believe that he had contacted God, or that God had contacted him. But he woke up from the thing and was like, wait a minute, I know what these people are doing wrong. I'm going to write it down and tell them came from God.
Right.
Is Judaism now a cult?
I think they're all cults. I think all ideologies are cults. I don't know. I don't think there is any one person who wrote, first of all, when you're dealing with Christianity, you're dealing with translations, right? Or Judaism, you're dealing with like ancient translations of languages that aren't even spoken anymore.
Right.
And you're also dealing with an oral tradition of who knows how many years before it was ever bothered to be written down. But written down by people. And then people decide what stays in and what doesn't. They change the rules. Like the priests used to be able to marry. Priests in the Catholic Church, the Pope used to have wives.
Sure.
They ran armies. I mean, this is clearly something that human beings have a hand in manipulating and changing, and they do it for the benefit of the structure itself.
Well,
they're not doing it for the benefit of the human beings that are a part of it. They're doing it for the benefit of the structure itself.
Oh, that I don't agree.
What's in what case? Like the money and the amount of power?
I'm not saying you don't have corruption in all of these structures.
Okay. That's how I get all my payments is PayPal. I need to set up a Patreon account so people can donate without me giving them nothing. Y'all just give me money. I don't know why y'all just want to give me money, but hey man, if I get 1,000 people to give me $1 a month, that's $1,000 a month. Y'all know how many art supplies and how much more time I can be in the studio and how much more time I can dedicate towards my art if I had like an extra $1,000 income. So that would be awesome. So I'm thinking, hell, even if 1,000 people just sent me 50 cents once a month, just give me 50 cents. That's $500. Shit. That should help out, you know what I'm saying? But I gotta set up a Patreon account, you know what I'm saying? And keep growing the channel, and fuck YouTube advertisements and shit like that. I'll set up a Patreon. I get if I can get like 5,000 or 6,000 subscribers, and everybody just send me 15 cents a month. Man, fuck the little starving kids in Africa, man. They be alright. Don't send them the 15 cents. Send the 15 cents to me. The best nation is donation. And I need representation. Because I don't have any affiliation. And it's causing complications. So, you know what I'm saying? Instead of being family, we need to be relations. You feel me? Some leftover burgers from this new burger joint called Moo Yeah. Swear to God, that's the name of that shit, yo. Moo Yeah. This beef is so greasy and delicious. Moo Yeah. Set up that Patreon and shit. I might do that shit this week, yo. But yeah, for all my personal art transactions that I do for myself, because I sell a lot of stuff through galleries and different events like that. I have an event coming up, first Friday of November. I'm gonna be the featured artist, and I'm gonna have prices listed for my stuff. Which there's gonna be some more of my more expensive pieces, but who knows? Somebody might buy one. But that'll be through the organization and not through me. So I don't know how they receive, checks or whatever. Just give me the money, But when I sell art directly to clients, PayPal is a very useful tool, and it's fucking free to set up, and their fees aren't that. Their fees are reasonable. I like PayPal. I've been using PayPal for a couple of years now. Oh, Boozy, I know you'll donate. Boozy costs me a couple dollars a month. This motherfucker. You look out. Anybody has a Pancheros? Y'all got Pancheros where y'all live at? It's like Titan, sure appreciate it, man. You have a good one, bro. Motherfucker at work. I'm watching from work. That's what's up, cuz. I'll catch you next time. But yeah, the Pancheros restaurant. Anybody ever ate from Pancheros? It's basically. I'm sorry, Miss Lady. I call everybody homies and stuff. You still my homie though. So I apologize, Miss Lady. Don't forget to follow my Instagram. Hit me up on Instagram. My Instagram is hot. I'll catch you next time. But Pancheros is like a Subway with burritos. You know what I'm saying? How you get your bread, you tell them what you want on your sub. As they walk it down, Pancheros the same thing, except it's a tortilla or a bowl, and you tell them what kind of meat and all the toppings, and they just walk you down. Moo Yeah is like that, but with burgers. Like, what you want on your burger? I want some jalapenos, I want some of that cheese, I want some of this, some of that, and they put all that shit together for you. And they fries, no fries can survive the microwave. It just don't work. Fries don't come out the microwave the same ever again. But when these fries is fresh, and it seems like, because they cook your burger right when you order it, so they cook your fries right as your burger. They don't have like a heat thing for fries